Paul Mooney, the boundary-pushing comedian and comedy writer who made his views on race, racism and social justice abundantly clear as Richard Pryor's longtime behind-the-scenes partner, a contributor to In Living Color, and a performer and writer on Chappelle's Show, died on Wednesday at his home in Oakland, California. He was 79. The cause was a heart attack, said Cassandra Williams, his publicist. Mr. Mooney was found to have prostate cancer in 2014. If you knew Mr. Pryor's work, you probably knew Mr. Mooney's words. The two worked together on the short-lived 1977 variety series, The Richard Pryor Show, Pryor's Place, 1984, Mr. Pryor's Unlikely Attempt at a Children's Show, television specials, the album and film, Richard Pryor, Live on the Sunset Strip, 1982, the autobiographical film, Joe Dancer, Your Life is Calling, 1986, which Mr. Pryor starred in and directed, and Mr. Pryor's 1975 appearance as host on Saturday Night Live. That episode included a now famous escalating-racial-insults job interview sketch with Chevy Chase, written by Mr. Mooney. In an interview with the New York Times after Mr. Pryor's death in 2005 at 65, Mr. Mooney described himself as Mr. Pryor's black writer. As a writer on In Living Color, Keenen Ivory Wayans' hit sketch comedy show that had its premiere on Fox in 1990 with a predominantly black cast, Mr. Mooney was the inspiration for and co-creator of Homey D Clown, a less-than-jovial circus-costumed character, played by Damon Wayans, who was forced to interact with children, part of his parole agreement, and usually ended up frightening them. As a writer and performer on Chappelle's Show in the early 2000s, Mr. Mooney played Negrodamus, inspired by the 16th-century astrologer Nostradamus, a mystic in a turban-like Renaissance muffin hat who foretold the future, Hillary Rodham Clinton's political prospects, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's marriage. Mooney also appeared as the expert in Ask a Black Dude segments and reviewed movies alongside white female critics. Discussing Gone with the Wind, he revealed that Hattie McDaniel, who played the enslaved character known as Mammy, had been reincarnated as Oprah Winfrey, for the money. Mr. Mooney's film roles included the singer Sam Cooke in The Buddy Holly Story, 1978, and Junebug, an old-school stand-up comedian with equal amounts of dignity, integrity and genius, in Bamboozled, 2000, Spike Lee's dark farce about a television network bringing back the minstrel show genre. On NPR's Morning Edition, this week, Mr. Chappelle asked for his thoughts, simply called Mr. Mooney, the best that ever was. Paul Mooney was born Paul Gladney on August 4, 1941, in Shreveport, Louisiana, to George Gladney and Aimay Ealy, who were both teenagers. When Paul was 7, he moved with his mother and her parents to Oakland, where he was largely raised by his grandmother, Aimay Ealy.